In most relationships, there is a beginning and an end. If the relationship is fizzling out, you usually notice right away. But what if you're unsure? Are there ways to tell if a girl is still interested in you and when her interest is waning? Let's face it, women are difficult to read sometimes, so if you've ever tried to look for signs she's not into you anymore and you're having trouble, not to worry because this video is here to help. Women may be difficult to decipher, but if you know what you're looking for, it becomes much easier to determine what they're trying to tell you. If you're looking for ways to discover if she's no longer interested in you, look for the following clues. 1. There's no chemistry. If your conversations feel forced and the hours seem to creep by whenever you're with her, it could be because the chemistry just isn't there. When the chemistry isn't there, she'll lose interest quickly. If your conversations are more exhausting than they are pleasant, it could very well be because she has lost interest due to a lack of chemistry between you. 2. She uses the word friend a little too often. If she's consistently describing you as a friend, this is not a good sign. Unless friend is the right word for you, which is doubtful, you can count on this relationship being dead in the water. After all, no one who has a genuine romantic interest in a woman wants that woman calling him a friend. 3. She makes excuses for not responding to texts and phone calls. If she is constantly making excuses for not responding to your phone calls, texts, or emails, it's likely she's no longer interested in you. If she does this just a few times, there's no need to panic because she may just be temporarily busy. But if this is the norm for your relationship, it's usually a good sign that the relationship has run its course. 4. She is constantly canceling the plans you made with her again. If she cancels your plans just a few times, there could be a good reason for it, but if she cancels on you constantly, then don't count on this being a long-term relationship. A woman who is truly interested in continuing with the relationship won't consistently cancel your plans together. Only someone uninterested does that. 5. She only contacts you when it's convenient for her. If she responds to texts and phone calls but only at times that are convenient for her and not you, her interest could definitely be fizzling out. After all, if her interest was still there, she'd respond to you within a reasonable time frame at least most of the time. If she doesn't do this, she's likely not into you anymore. 6. She doesn't care what she looks like. Although most women have bad hair days, if she consistently looks sloppy or disheveled when she's around you, it's very doubtful that a long-term relationship is what she wants from you. Women care what they look like, especially when they're in front of a man they care about, so she is only interested if she looks like she spent some time on what she looks like before she got there. 7. She treats you differently depending on who is around. If a woman treats you differently when you're alone than she does when you're around other people, you can likely go ahead and cut your losses and move on to the next relationship. Women don't treat their men differently depending on who's around at the time, especially if they treat you worse when you're around others than they do when you're alone. 8. Her body language is unimpressive. In all relationships, you can tell a lot about how a person feels about you by looking at their body language. If they are no longer interested in you, you can easily tell that as well. If she crosses her arms a lot, angles her body so that it faces away from you, or seems to be avoiding any type of physical contact, it's likely she is no longer interested in you. 9. She ignores you when you walk into a room. If you walk into a room and the girl you've been dating doesn't light up like a Christmas tree, especially if she chooses to leave the area and move to another area of the room, it's very likely she is no longer interested in you. After all, an interested woman will always want to be around you when you're around other people, if for no other reason than to brag to others that you are all hers. 10. She won't introduce you to the important people in her life. If you're important to the girl you're dating, she'll enthusiastically introduce you to everyone important in her life, including her close friends and relatives. If she doesn't do this, it's a clear sign that her future does not include you. If it did, she would be more than anxious to introduce you to all of the important people in her life. 11. She won't commit to any events planned for the future. If the girl you're dating never commits to events you have planned for the future, a friend's wedding, for example, it could very well mean that she's about to break up with you. At the very least, it means she is not that interested in you, because if she was, she'd be planning to hold on to the relationship a little bit longer. The signs she's not into you anymore are not that difficult to notice, especially if you know what you're looking for in the first place. One thing's for sure. Women will give off certain signals when they're no longer interested in you as a romantic partner, and while not all of them make sense, the more you pay attention to her, the easier it is to tell if she is still interested in you or preparing to say goodbye to your relationship.